chapter 9 in first canto Srimad Bhagavatam. So I really welcome all of you to glorify together Bhishmadev. Om Ajnanatimiraandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshuranmritam Mena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Mena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Tapadakam Sri Guru.
Sorry. What happened?
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. I welcome you to the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam. I'm going to glorify Bhishmadev, chapter 9 in first canto Srimad Bhagavatam. So I really welcome all of you to glorify together Bhishmadev. Om Ajnanatimiraandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshuranmritam Mena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Mena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Tapadakam Sri Guru and Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Patan Sagana Lalita Sri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusite Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha kalpatarabhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Vidiraye Nashtaprayeshu cha Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttamashloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki. So before going to Srimad Bhagavatam, I would like to talk more about who is Bhishmadev and how he is put into so many different circumstances and everything. So I would like to give the chapter like passing of Bhishmadev in the presence of Lord Krishna. So I would love to name this as Bhishmadev. Like he is of more humility and tolerant. So in Bhagavad Gita, we learned in the 13th chapter about the definitions of tolerance and humility. So it's very well explained in the 13th chapter from verse, I think, 8 to 17. Yeah. So humility means, Srila Prabhupada neatly explained that humility is we don't expect honor or dishonor from others. That is the definition of humility. And the tolerance, he says that the tolerance, like we should be tolerant. We should not hanker for honor. Yeah, I will make sure about that. But the definitions are like humility and tolerance. So I could glorify those two qualities in Bhishmadev's pastime. So before jumping on to the Bhagavatam class, like the 9th chapter of Bhagavatam, I would love to talk a little bit more about Bhishmadev pastime. So, like a very special child named Devadratha was born to Shantanu and the king of the entire land of Bharat. Devadratha, better known as Bhishma, is forever remembered from the Hindu epics as the ideal son who gave up his happiness for the sake of his father. So this is the background of Bhishma Dev. Shantanu was in love with Satyavati, and the local head fisherman's daughter. She's like Satyavati. She's the fisherman's daughter. Her beauty and grace mesmerized Shantanu. He earned to marry her and make her another one of his queens. Unfortunately, the king, like this wouldn't be an easy task, right? Like marrying a fisherman's daughter. Satyavati's recent palm reading predicted that her son would be the rulers of the Bharat. So her father worried that Satyavati married to Shantanu and the children wouldn't be getting a chance to rule the great kingdom since his son Devadrat was the first in the line for the crown. So looking out for his daughter's well-being, the fisherman placed a proposition before Shantanu. Devadrat would have to forfeit the throne, or else Shantanu couldn't have Satyavati's hand in marriage. Shantanu was very hurt by this proposition because he knew that it was Devadrat's right to be the next king. Knowing he would doing injustice to his son, he tried to forget about Satyavati. However, being away from Satyavati caused Shantanu to become depressed. Devadratha, through his father's charioteer, came to know that the reason behind his father's depression and decided that his son, he should help his father regain his happiness. So Devadatta arranged a meeting with the fisherman, and Devadatta promised Satyavati's father that he would let her children rule the kingdom if he consent about Shantanu to marry her. However, the generous offer was not enough for the fisherman. He was worried that there was still a possibility that Devadatta's future children may challenge the right of Satyavati's future children. The quell of the fisherman's fears, Devadatta vowed to practice eternal service. So this is the time where Bhishma Shapadam, he took that forever, celibacy forever. Devadatta's will to help his father astonish the gods in the heavens, who immediately showered flowers upon him, crying, Bhishma, Bhishma, like greatest vow. It's like a terrible oath you have taken. So after hearing about this immense sacrifice, Shantanu granted the boon of Ichamrityu. Ichamrityu means you can choose your death. You can choose the time of your death. So this reminds about our priority, like how the duty towards our parents. I feel like this reminds me the duty towards our parents. So coming to our situation, what's going on with the Kurukshetra War? What's going on? I will tell it. I'll share my screen so that you can all see and we can glorify together. I'm sharing my screen. Yeah, chapter 9, the passing of Bhishma Dev in the presence of the Lord Krishna. So Bhishma Dev never married afterwards, and for 3 generations he took care of the throne. So he helped the Pandavas, and then next generation and next generation. So he took care good of the throne. So coming to this, the passing away of Bhishmadev in the presence of the Lord Krishna. So I would love to check the text to divide the chapter. I would love to tell that. So we'll get a brief we'll get a brief description of what's going on in the chapter. The first 1 to 11, it's all about Bhishma welcomes everyone assembled at his deathbed according to the time, place, and circumstances. And then 12 to 17, it talks about Bhishmadev pacifies and encourages Pandavas. So before Bhishmadev welcomes, and then the Pandavas encouragement for the Pandavas. And then 18 to 24, Bhishmadev glorifies Krishna's position as Supreme Lord. And then 25 to 28, Bhishmadev instructs Yudhishthira. And then from 29 to 31, Bhishmadev's final moments. And 32 to 43, this is the beautiful, beautiful, beautiful section. It's my heart loving. Just because of this, I wanted to I wanted to record my Bhagavatam class just for this section. 32 to 43, Bhishmadev's prayer to the Lord. And then 44 to the end, 49, honoring Bhishmadev's departure and the events thereafter. So this is the gist of how the sections of the chapter. And we'll go to the top, all the way to the top, to the first section, 1 to 11. So it's in the Kurukshetra War. So Yudhishthira, he understands the dharma, and but seeing everybody there, when he came there, he was having he got coronated, and he has his throne and everything. He has everything dressed up and everything. But as soon as he sees all the people around, he will be turned into shoka. So much shoka that he feels very bad about himself. And he continuously talks like he's the cause of all this distress. Everybody is dead because of me. And the woman became widow because of me. And there are no children. The children are left without their elders. That is because of me. So he was keep on talking about this war is because it happened because of me. So he was so shoka. Shoka is he could not bear it, that much shoka. And Srila Prabhupada lately explains that Yudhishthira Maharaj is put into this condition of shoka because of the plan of the Lord. And that Yudhishthira should face this shoka, and he has to go and take the shelter of Bhishma Dev so that Bhishma Dev will guide him properly, because Bhishma Dev is like so many generations. He helped all the generations of kings and everybody. So if he takes some guidance from him, for Yudhishthira, it will be good to carry on how to rule the kingdom. So this is all Krishna's plan. So if you see Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna was put into moha. And he said, like, I don't want to do this war. Because of this war, everything will be turning like, I don't want, it's not green enough. It's like all crying, and I don't want that. But in if you see, when you come, that is Arjuna, that is, he is in like moha, and Yudhishthira Maharaj in shoka. So both the conditions, I think this is the plan of Lord Krishna. So as soon as we go a little bit down, we can see, seeing him, this text for Bhishma lying on the ground like a demigod fallen from the sky, the Pandava king Yudhishthira, along with his younger brothers and Lord Krishna, bowed down before him. So what happened? So Yudhishthira did not get pacified with the words of Krishna. He said, no, I did it. So then Krishna said, okay, let's go to Bhishma Dev so that you get pacified maybe, and you'll get some tips how to regain your strength. So then Krishna says, okay, he's coming like that fast, like just like whatever he has on his dress, he was ready to come. But Krishna, he said, no, why don't you dress up? Why don't you put this jewel, like a big har and big throne and big something, like decorate yourself and come to the Bhishma Dev? Why did he tell that? Why he always like, see, at the time, all his brothers followed him on beautiful chariots drawn by the first class horses, decorated with gold ornaments. Why did they put gold ornaments? With them, they were Vyasa, rishis, like Draumya, like they were all decorated with gold ornaments. And they are drawn with first class horses. This is also the plan of Krishna. Krishna saw Yudhishthira Maharaj and all these people, Pandavas, for so long, always in distress. They are not in distress, but they put into those conditions, always like struggling. But Bhishmadev has in heart to see Yudhishthira Maharaj all dressed up with the all ornaments. He had wish. So somehow Krishna Krishna gave an like Krishna planned like this so that he will decorate himself. And so actually, if you see, if you go to the hospital, if we don't get dressed up, and if you see this, Bhishma Dev is on, we can say it is deathbed. We can't dress up when a person is sick. But Krishna made sure that all the Pandavas are decorated well, so that it will be a good festival mood to Bhishma Dev. So now, like three things I think fulfilled. Bhishma wanted to see Krishna at the time of death. He wanted him to be there. Seeing him, he wanted to pass away. The first thing. So it is something, it's coming out. And the first one, the first thing is Pandavas, he wanted to see them decorated well and good. So I think that came true. And the third is like, he wanted to talk to Yudhishthira Maharaj because he wanted to give his wisdom to the Pandavas. So this is all like, now they stepped into the Kurukshetra War. So Bhishma Dev is lying on the bed of arrows. I feel like even if I get a needle into my hand, I can't tolerate. I can't even tolerate. I hate needles. I said to everybody. But when I was going through some turbulences in my life for past 2 weeks, I meditated on Bhishmadev so much, like to give me strength. To give me strength. I know I'm going through the needles, but you're so tolerant enough that you can sleep on the that bed of arrows, and when your head is not in proper position, and one more arrow was put by Arjuna to put it on a straight up. I said, I don't have that much strength, Bhishmadev. Please give me. I was praying to Bhishmadev a lot when the turbulent situations. I feel he gave me a lot of strength by these Bhishma prayers and this chapter. So it's really good to learn about Bhishma. So there are so many people now around Bhishmadev. The Parvata Muni, Narada, Dhumya, Vyasa, Brishadeva, Bharadwaja, Parashurama, and Vasishta, Indra Pramada, Trita, Grishta, Ashita, Kakshivana, Gautama, Atri, Kaushika, Sudarshana were present. They're all present. So, and Bhishmadev was one of the 8 Vasus. So he welcomed all of them. So then Lord Krishna is situated in everyone's heart. Yet he manifests his transcendental form by his internal potency. This very Lord was sitting before Bhishmadev, and since Bhishmadev knew of his glories, he worshipped him duly. So after that, Bhishmadev started talking. Oh, what terrible sufferings, what terrible injustice. You good souls suffer for being the sons of religion personified. You did not deserve to remain alive under these turbulences, yet you were protected by Brahmins, good God, and religion. So he was talking to Pandavas out of his heart, saying like, you truly, truly deserve this kingdom. And as far as my daughter-in-law Kunti is concerned, upon the great General Pandu's death, she became a widow with many children, and therefore she suffered greatly. And when you're grown up, she suffered a great deal also because of your action. So he's concerned. This is the concern of Bhishmadev. He's concerned to his grandsons. He is concerned about Kunti, daughter-in-law. So this is his concern. We can see. And he says, in my opinion, this is all due to inevitable time, under whose control everyone in every planet is carried, just as the clouds are carried by the wind. So like how we have to take the turbulent situations. So, and after this, he talks about Lord Krishna. This Sri Krishna is no other than inconceivable original personality of Godhead. He's first Narayana, the supreme enjoyer, but he's moving amongst the descendants of Kring Rishi, just like one of us, and is bewildering with his self-created energy. So the Pandavas visit the deathbed from 1st to 5 shlokas, and from then 5 to 11 the assembly near the deathbed, and after that Bhishma is pacified. We saw all of these things. Bhishma pacified Yudhishthir Maharaj and Pandavas, and then we'll go to the next section where Bhishma glorifying the position of Lord Krishna. He says that as the supreme personality of Godhead. So after this, we'll go to 25 to 28. Bhishma Dev instruct Maharaj Yudhishthira. This is my favorite thing where I learned lessons. So Bhishma Dev instructs Maharaj Yudhishthira, like he says that after hearing the appealing tone, asked him in the presence of the great rishis about the essential principles of various religious duties. And he talks about the religious duties and between the counteraction between the detachment and interaction by attachment. So my favorite and heart-touching part is women. As usual, we are always like in text 27. So Dana Dharman, Raja Dharman, Moksha Dharman, Vibhagasaha, Stri Dharman, Bhagavad Dharman, Samasavya Yogataha. So in this, he explained the divisions of acts of charity, the pragmatic activities of king, and activities of salvation, activities for salvation. Then he described the duties of a woman, devotees, both briefly and extensive. Vishnudev explained everything in this small section. He gave out all his wisdom to Yudhishthira Maharaj. Srila Prabhupada explained so good. Like, I would love to read this purport. Like, not a little bit, but little bit. As far as women class are concerned, they're accepted as a power of inspiration for men. As such, women are more powerful than men. Mighty Julius Caesar was controlled by Cleopatra. Such powerful women are controlled by shyness. Therefore, shyness is important for women. Once this control wave is loosened, women can create havoc in society by adultery. Adultery means production of unwanted children, known as Varna Shankara, who disturb the world. So everything is given by Bhishmadev, everything. So even Prabhupada explained women how their contribution to the society. I'm going back to my verses, 26. I think I did 27. So now, like Bhishmadev completely told like dharma, artha, kama, moksha, all the things to Yudhishthira Maharaj. So from 29 to 31, he's in the last final moments. Recently, we entered into Uttarayana. Uttarayana means Makara Sankranti. So Bhishmadev also, like, he got a boon, right? He can give up his life at whatever time. So he chose the time Uttarayana. So with the pure meditation and everything, looking at Krishna, at once was freed with the material inauspiciousness and was relieved from all bodily pains caused by the arrow wounds. Thus all the external activities of his senses at once stopped, and he prayed transcendentally to the controller of all living beings while quitting his material body. So the last section, my favorite section, 32 to 42. I love to sing all the verses, but because of the time consumption and everything, I'll sing one verse. It's glorifying Krishna. Sri Krishna is the ultimate friend of Arjuna. He has appeared on this earth in his transcendental body, which resembles the bluish color of the Tamala tree. His body attracts everyone in the three plenary systems, upper, middle, and lower. May his glittering yellow dress and his lotus face covered with paintings of sandalwood pulp be the object of my attraction, and may I not desire fruitive results. So this is the prayer. This is the Bhishmadev prayers from 32. He's praying to Krishna all like this. So it goes like this, the shloka. Tribhuvana kamanam tamalavernam ravikara gauravarambaram dadane vapurvalaka kulavrutanabjam vijayasakeratirasthu me navadya Tribhuvana kamanam Tamalavarnam Ravikara Gauravarambaram Dadane. So these are beautiful prayers. So I don't want to sing anymore. but this makes me inspiring to read the chapter again and again and again. And I would love to sing one more, just one more. 34. Yudituragarajo vimudra vishva kachalulita saramyavaram alankritasya. Somehow it goes like that, but these are beautiful players. It talks like on the battlefield where Sri Krishna attended Arjuna out of friendship, the flowing hair of Lord Krishna turned ashen due to the dust of the hair raised by the hooves of horses, and because of his labor, beads of sweat wetted his face. All these decorations, intensified by the wounds dealt by sharp arrows, were enjoyed by him. Let my mind thus go on to Krishna. So these are all beautiful prayers. So we'll end with last section. So honoring Bhishmadev's departure and the events thereafter. So Bhishmadev passes away. So thereafter, both men and demigods sounded drums in honor, and the royal order commenced demonstrations of honor and respect, and from the sky fell showers of flowers. So this is the glorious death of Bhishmadev, who is emblemed for humility and tolerance. So I would love to conclude this session glorifying Bhishmadev. Thank you so much for hearing to my discourse. Please put comments or anything on the WhatsApp link when you hear it. I really, really pray for all of your blessings and prayers and wishes so that I can glorify Bhishmadev for lifelong. Thank you and Hare Krishna. Vancha kalpatarabhyascha krupasindabhyo cha pattanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, wow. Very beautiful story about our Bhishmadev and his humility and his description of prayers for Lord Shri Krishna when he's at the deathbed. Wow, amazing. Okay, now we can go with chapter 10 by Vasanta Mataji. So Vasanta Mataji. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Om Yajmanasya Trimrandasya Jnanam Salakya Chaturasya Amritam Yana Tasyam Sri Guruve Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yana Bhutaya Swayam Rupaha Kadamritam Dadati Sam Padankrutam Vande Sri Harim Sri Gopikayata Pada Kamalam Sri Gana Vaishnavatam Sri Rupa Kadamritam Sahagana Raghunadham Tam Jevam Sadavitam Sadhu Savadatam Parjana Sahitam Sri Krishna Deva Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Vaishnavansita Sri Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jakasite Gopasa Gopikana Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radha Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Satu Devi Pranani Haripriye Vanja Kalpatribanayaka Kripa Sindhu Acha Patinam Pranayavacha Ta Vasinya Bhavaha Sri Deva Sri Krishna Chaitanya Ananda Advaita Gadanta Sivasati Gaurabhakta Vedanta. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Now chapter 10. In the chapter, the main points are the nature of the king is the star. Second, the grace of the Lord Krishna. Third point, the concept of the state. Fourth, the basic principles of economic development and nature of modern world. Fifth point, Yudhishthira's cooperation about God. The sixth point, the nature of ladies, that means devotees in the Mahabharata period. So, lastly, the grace of the Lord. Now I continue. Departure of Lord Krishna for Dwarka. So Saunika Mahamuni asked Sukadeva, after killing the enemies in the Kurukshetra, why Maharaj Yudhishthira ruled Hastinapura of all men of religion and enjoy, and he could not feel enjoy the kingdom unrestricted consciousness. The Maharaj Yudhishthira, after being enlightened by what spoken by Bhishma Deva and Lord Sri Krishna, he impeccable and engaged himself in the matters of the perfect knowledge, because all his misgivings were eradicated. The concept of the Lord is Sri Krishna. The whole world was maintained by Krishna place only. Maharaj Yudhishthira regained Kurukshetra dynasty from his cousins Kauravas. Lord Krishna established the kingdom by killing the unwanted persons in the war Kurukshetra. The Lord satisfied Yudhishthira in the throne of Hastinapura, the Kuru dynasty. Now, the concept of the state. The concept of the state only perfect and infallible can eradicate the program which is applicable for every place in the world. Yudhishthira ruled the earth and seas, and Yudhishthira's brothers were well trained and acting as his ministers and commanders. There were so many stories of imperfect kings and about the executives. The world was happy in those days by ruling the kingdom by Yudhishthira. The basic principles of the kingdom of the basic principles of economic development is entered in land and cows. The human society based on grace, they are fulfilled in the it is applicable in every state. An imperfect human being can't create an ideology acceptable to everyone. In modern day advanced civilization, killing of animals, so the man is less than an animal. So human civilization should be depend on the production of material elements, artificially attempting artificial greed and power, only for the purpose, the luxuries and sense of gratification. Mass of people followed the footsteps of the vested interest by exploring nature resources. The result, the world was polluted and raised so many diseases like cancer, TB, AIDS, and coronavirus. We notice the defects of the modern civilization and follow the footsteps of the king Yudhishthira. Maharaj Yudhishthira had full cooperation by the God. Godhead Sri Krishna. Bhagavad Gita, in Bhagavad Gita words, Lord himself is the seed-giving father, and the material nature is the mother of all living beings in all shapes. The pure devotee only the reflection, only the reflection. Pure devotee can realize that the darkness of material illusion by notice the Supreme Lord. So is the support confirm. The Supreme Lord is representative in everything, including the atoms. The condition of soul is very beautiful, and think the condition of soul is very beautiful. Rose and thinks that the flower should be used for the gratification, service of the Lord to be considered liberated soul or structured or. The transcendental qualities of the devotee differ from one devotee to another devotee. But Lord Krishna devotees is impossible for them to tolerate separation. The feeling of such separation we find in the Vrinjavana. Innocent roller cows, cowboys, girls, and ladies are examples. In Hastinapura, in Hastinapura, Subhadra, Draupadi, Sahadeva, Bhishma, Bhimasena, Satyavati are examples. Only in the intelligence freed from the materialistic association and hearing the glories of the Lord. Srimad Bhagavatam trains the condition of soul to a stage of perfection by hearing from the pure devotee. Krishna is the absolute of our intimate relation. Krishna can be confidently review out talking or hearing or remembering him. This is the spiritual potency. A person who have taken shelter are always peaceful. They are never cursed by anyone, not attempting the curse by anyone. In the Mahabharata period, the ladies observed strict parada, restricted association with men. The royal ladies desired to see the Lord, so the ladies got up on the top of the palace, smiling with affection and showered flowers to the Krishna. While the leaving Hastinapura, because they are all pure devotees. The vindication is being paid Krishna. They are all absolute part of human beings. In the Upanishads also, the Vedic hymns, the lady takes more valuable part than the Brahmana vindication. That shows the importance of the ladies in the Mahabharata period. Attainment of stage of spiritual life is highly perfection called Sarupa or factual identity of the living being. Lord is a master of master, a friend, a son, or a husband to fulfill the intense love for all devotees. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu have been inclined to participate in these subjects after renouncing worldly life. In this stage, he errand after the Maya life is penance. Lord, devotees are purified souls. The devotees surrenders to the feet of them. So they become freed from the material contamination. In Yasoda Mata's Lord actions are childhood, and sometimes Lord places the part of subordinate to in his transcendental spotting under the protection of his mother. Lord is absolute in everything. By him, he is a good for all. In the part of the wives had also, Lord had 16,100 wives, queens. Lord defeated many powerful kings like Sisupala, Rukma, Basmasura, etc. Lord ladies were, Lord gained the ladies in the war and they become queens. In the Bhagavad Gita, Lord words of material energy is under my contact, under my influence only. The Prakriti automatically created by the external energy. Bhagavad Gita is a principle of all human beings. People have no taste of Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavatam, so they are under the clutches of Maya for the repetition of birth and death. the process ends, the knowledge of accepting Vasudeva, all in all. In the devotional service from the very beginning, by the grace of Lord, all factual knowledge become revealed in the hearts of the devotees due to the direction by the Lord within. The only easiest means of Krishna is the Supreme Person. Bhagavad Gita particularly represented as a Paramatma or impersonal Brahma. In the time of creation, to re-establish the principles of religion and vanquish of the false, so it is confirmed Bhagavad Gita. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna transcendental appearances, disappearances, activities, all stories of the Lord as husband, goodness, fortune, certainly obtained something more than what is known as liberation. Please excuse me if any mistakes. Thank you, Mataji. Hare
Oh
Krishna.
no, Mataji, thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare
It was
Krishna.
beautiful. Thank you so much, Mataji. I got, a couple of points that I wanted to share is how, how Pandavas felt when, from the separation of Krishna, how they felt like they cannot even survive. But, in response to that, it's like Prabhupada has, you mentioned that in the purport, Prabhupada has also said that, by hearing his Vani or reading the books, we can feel the presence of Krishna with us. And by devotional service, how, knowledge automatically is revealed within us by the super soul. So devotional service is also very important. Thank you so much for those great points, Mataji. And our Lord can even, take a subordinate role as Yashoda Maya's son and was, willing to get chastised by him. It's just wonderful how he's great, and the sweetness of the Lord, it just makes him just all opulent at the same time sweet. So thank you so much, Mataji.
Thank you. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you. Devotees, do you guys have any questions or comments or sharings or realizations? We're almost at time, I know, but we still have about 8 more minutes if anyone has anything to share.
I just found out that I did not know the reason of Uttarayan and Makar Sankranti and what happened with Bhishma Dev. And I've heard it in Kathas, but I was able to relate more with Mataji's video. So that was nice, and it was a good learning.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you, Mataji, for sharing. Hare Krishna. Even I felt like, a lot of things, like the background information, I wasn't aware of that Mataji had covered. So definitely, the humility and tolerance of Bhishma Dev, as she said, right? Like even one little poke in us, it's intolerable for us. And he was laying there for a few days on the bed of arrows. That's just, we cannot even imagine. I cannot even imagine, I know. But, we always say that by hearing these devotee stories, we can actually imbibe those qualities in us by meditating upon these devotee stories, for what you're trying to really imbibe. So, for me, I know I'm trying to imbibe tolerance, which, this is great to, story to really meditate upon too. Thank you, Mataji. Anyone else? If not, we will meet next week. Thank you so much. Oh, yes, Sandhya
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna. Hare Krishna. I would like to appreciate very much both Sundari Leela Mataji and Vasanta Mataji for their beautiful presentations. Sundari Leela Mataji really lived in that chapter, I feel.
She did. She was, I told her, I was asking her, like, since you cannot make it, maybe we can switch it with someone. But she's like, no, I don't want to switch. I'm very close with this chapter.
she lived that section very really. And Vasudha Mataji also brought out all the points.
Great points, yeah.
Dwaraka Yatra, Dwaraka chapter. It is nice to be refreshed on these topics and very nice presentations. Thank you very much, both speakers. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Anyone else have any other comments, questions, or realizations to share? Okay, then we will meet again next week. Thank you, Vasanta Mataji. Thank you, Sundarila Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. It was great presentation, and to all the devotees. We will again meet next week in the glories of Srimad Bhagavatam. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.
Namo Namah.
Ananta Koti Vaishnavendra ki jai.
Jai.
Hare Krishna. Shila
Hare
Prabhupada
Krishna.
ki jai.
Okay. Bye.